Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Gabe, and for today we will be reviewing the new J. Cole record, The Fall Off. J. Cole is back with probably his most anticipated album of all time. And he's back after his last project, The Off Season. Not My Delete Later. We do not count My Delete Later. Um, just did not live up to the standards that he set for himself. So we look past that one. He's back from The Off Season. Which was one of his most focused projects yet to that point, and probably honestly my favorite to that point. Yeah, it was just a really awesome project. So the fall off has kind of been teased for the last almost decade, I think. So expectations for this, to say the least, were sky high. Also because J. Cole announced that this might be his last album that he's doing, or he said that for sure it will be his last album. So again, expectations for this have been sky high. I think everybody's expecting this to be a 10 out of 10, or has been expecting this to be a 10 out of 10. So before the release of the Fall Off, he gave us his birthday Blizzard tape, which was a collection of freestyles that preceded the Fall Off that came out in late January. I think actually a week before the actual Fall Off came out. And I will not lie to you, I love the concept of the Fall Off as a double disc. It being two different discs, disc 29 and disc 39. Disc 29 telling the story of J. Cole returning to his hometown in Fayetteville, North Carolina at the age of 29, and Dis 39 following the same kind of story, but instead of him returning at age 29, he returns at age 39. So on Dis 29, J. Cole was trying to rap with that same passion that he had when he was trying to make it in the hip hop scene originally. When he was much younger, and he was just trying to tap into that hungriness, that passion that he had or that he once felt. While this 39 is very retrospective and very reflective, and a lot of it is paying homage to a lot of the classic hip hop that he heard growing up and that inspired him. Um, and overall, he was just a lot more vulnerable on that disc compared to the first disc. So on disc 29, he's trying to, as I said, grab that older Cole, that rap with such ferociousness at the beginning of his career. And that was, claiming that he could be the GOAT one day, or maybe that he is the GOAT already. Um, and instead of him doing that on disc 39 is more of Cole sitting back and realizing that, you shouldn't really care how you're perceived. You should really care about your art, and he's more trying to make himself proud with the art that he can create instead of making other people love what he can create. This 29 was really good, and I actually really like the intro with like that folksy country type of vibe to it. It's very, it makes sense because he's going back to North Carolina for the first time, and that's what it states in the song as well. But also like that's the type of music you would actually hear in North Carolina. I mean, if you're just going like walking around, whatever, that type of music is common. And then even ending it off with the gunshots and the screams and stuff is very, it's telling. Like it makes sense because, although that's the type of music that, you would hear in North Carolina, that's the type of violence that J. Cole was also around. It's like two conflicting things. So I really enjoyed the intro a lot. So all throughout this disc, you do hear that sound and style that he is going for on songs like 2-6, Poor Thing, Who TF Is You, and even verses on Run a Train and Legacy. You could really tell that he got what he was going for. And those are great songs, and those are really great verses as well. I guess my only problem that I really see with a lot of this 29 is like how much it exactly adds to Cole's catalog, because a lot of these topics and things that he spoke about are a lot of topics and things that we've heard on previous records, and a lot of the sound sonically um, are stuff that is very reminiscent off of stuff like of For Your Eyes Only and stuff like that, and even a little bit of the off season in there too. Um, so I guess that's my only complaint with it. But other than that, it's very good. It's very good. And I understand that like when it comes to that stuff, it's more about the album experience, not really, about, if it's derivative. But I do think that he could have been He could have gone after that same concept without being derivative of like older sounds for him personally. Um, so yeah, that's just a little tiny complaint. That's it. Safety is a very huge highlight for me on the first disc, and probably honestly my favorite song, as he raps from the perspective of some of his friends who have left him voicemails, and it's very apparent that Cole feels guilty distancing himself from not only his hometown but his friends that he was close to. As things back home have been just as bad and just as regressive as it was when he left. Like how he describes that they had a friend who was in the closet and wasn't comfortable to come out until he went off to university. But now that he is out, his friends that he had back at home have now distanced themselves from him. And now they judge him every time they see him walking down the street. Cole also starts to feel some survivor's guilt because while he was, working and living his best life and, rapping to the best of his abilities, he's had people who he grew up with who have passed away either to health complications or to violence in the streets. Bunch Road Blues with Future and Tim's was very interesting. I did like it. I like Cole's parts a lot on there. And I even didn't mind the little future hit, the little singing part. I thought that it was actually pretty decent. I did feel as though Tim's felt a little off over the beat. And I don't know what it was. Her voice is amazing. I love Tim. She has a very beautiful voice. I mean, she's awesome. Um, but I don't know what it was. I just couldn't she just didn't feel right. I don't know if they needed a beat switch up just for Tim's or something, but like I listened to it over like 3 or 4 times, and every time I was just like, I don't know, there's something off here. I mean, she's obviously off beat. Like it just didn't seem like it was a good fit for her to be on that beat. Especially with the way that she was singing. It just didn't really fit the cadence very well for me. The Let Out is another highlight for me. I really like this one. I have seen people on social media who are not the biggest fans of this one, but I thought the beat was nice and different from all the other ones that we heard on Disc 29. And then Cole describing being in a club but not knowing if he'll make it out alive was pretty cinematic, and I think he told it very well. And it's a very vibey song. I think it's a good vibe too. Lonely at the Top was a bonus here at the end of the track list, which I really liked. The instrumental is very nice. Cole, obviously, doing his thing. Overall, I thought the first disc was good. I think one more complaint I have is I felt the beats weren't very dynamic on the first side. I mentioned how like I felt like the Let Out was a little bit different from all the other beats that we heard to that point. But other than that, like yeah, again, it was just kind of stuff that we've heard from Cole before. You know what I mean? So, writing wise and from the beat's perspective. But yeah, overall, I mean, the production was very good still, and I do think that it added to the experience that he was going for. Now we're on to Disc 39, where Cole is now 39 years old and revisiting his hometown in Fayetteville, which starts with 39 intro, which is one of my favorite songs on the entire project, if I'm being honest. The instrumental in the beginning and the singing from Cole is actually very nice. I'm not gonna lie, a little unexpected, but he did his thing singing on there, and yeah, the instrumental is just very soothing, very nice on the ears. I like that it's like it starts at a slower pace, before the beat switch with some gunshots again, like on the first intro. Um, but yeah, I thought this one was very good, and then the beat switch, was very hard too. I like that a lot, and then obviously J Cole did his thing. So yeah, great song. Love the start there. So this side is supposed to be a love letter to hip hop, and Cole really does accomplish that very well with multiple different samples that he uses and interpolations. I'm not gonna mention all of them, but I'll mention them throughout. But the Villas is a great song with Erica Badu, where we see her and Cole simultaneously do an interpolation of Outkast Elevators on the chorus, all while Cole is doing some more reflection of his come up and his journey, and treats it as like a full circle moment for himself. But yeah, I honestly, the elevators interpolation really stood out to me. I mean, I love Outkast. I'm a huge Outkast fan, so. Old Dog is that more aggressive, hard sounding song. I don't absolutely love this one. He did interpolate Ti's 24s, so that's pretty nice. And I do actually like PD Pablo's intensity on this song. He really does make me want to like take my shirt off and swing it around. Not gonna lie. There are a couple of songs on this disc that I'm just not really a big fan of, really at all. And it's mainly Life Sentence and Only You. And don't get me wrong, I'm down for a good love song. I love good love songs, and I love showing appreciation to our wives and our girlfriends and our family. I absolutely love that. And I do feel like the concepts on these were very good. Like, again, like showing appreciation to his wife, and showing love to her. I just don't think that the execution was the greatest, in my opinion. I don't know. He just didn't sound super enthusiastic on this. So Life Sentence is a personal sentiment for his wife as he goes through their journey from going from young to old with each other and growing with each other, and making it work out. While Only You is a love letter to his wife. And I just feel like overall, like again, he could have executed it better. I think that we've heard better from him on similar kind of focus songs, on like stuff like For Your Eyes Only and even like 2014 Forest Hills Drive. I just think that he's done better than this before. Even on the chorus where he says, "I'll put this ring on you. What's up?" I don't know why. It's just like it just made me laugh. It's just funny to think about like someone being like proposing to you and being like, "Hey, I'll put this ring on you. What's up?" Like, I don't know, bro. Like, it just didn't seem like he was taking it that serious, to be honest. I'm also not a huge fan of Cole's voice on Only You. And even like again on the chorus where he mentions he saw his birth of their two sons, and each time his mind was blown. And like just the way that he sings about it is like you're not taking this serious. I don't know. It just didn't feel the most personal to me. I don't know. I just think he could have done a lot better personally. And I think he could have done a lot more to really show his love and appreciation, and amazement, even in that particular situation for his wife. On Man Up Above, J. Cole samples Marvin Sapp, and I think the sample could have been better utilized there. It's not horrible at all. It's definitely listenable, definitely passable, but I just didn't love it, and I think it could have been used a little better on there. I Love Her Again is Cole's love letter to hip hop. And I really like the concept of this song. As he describes a situation that can make sense in real life between a man and a woman who are maybe of love interest, and where there is mutual interest, and they start to slowly grow apart. And there's mutual frustration and arguments going on, because they used to be lovers and now they're kind of growing apart. um, and J. Cole refers to hip hop as her throughout this entire song. It's a very cool concept, and I really enjoyed it a lot. And he kind of just go through. He kind of just goes through and details how like throughout the years, even though he's always had that love for hip hop, there are times where he doesn't focus on it solely, and how sometimes it can feel like the fans are really hassling him, even if he doesn't feel creatively like he has anything to give for real, and stuff like that. I don't know why I said for real. I kind of hate that I said that, but I'll leave it in. But yeah, I did like the song a lot, and I love the concept of it. The song What If shows a perspective where Tupac and Biggie, instead of continuing to beef, end up squashing their beef and become friends again. And this is no doubt referencing the whole Drake and Kendrick beef, that Cole backed out of, a couple of years ago. And yeah, there's just no way that this song would be on here without that happening. And I just don't know if it's that necessary. I mean, I understand that it was, it's kind of a vital part of his life. Like that was a huge beef that happened, but I just don't think that it's the most necessary song on this track list. I just don't know if we needed it on the fall off personally. So in Quick Stop, Cole meets a fan at the gas station where through this fan he realizes that his impact on people in the world has been so great, and he starts to realize that he kind of values that impact on people in the world more than he does, money, fame, streams, competition, notoriety, and he just values what he's doing for the people as a whole. The last song here is "In the Whole World Is the Ville," where Cole shows love to his hometown, acknowledges that even though He's global and he doesn't really go to his hometown a lot or talk to his friends in his hometown. He's still ingrained in the Ville in Fayetteville, and he still has love, a lot of love for it. The bonus here is Ocean Way, where J. Cole perfectly wraps up this album, and maybe wraps up his whole career. Sadly, in this song. As a whole, I enjoyed this album. There are a lot of great tracks here, and even though there are a little, dim spots, in my opinion, I think that the good heavily outweighs the bad here. Some complaints that I have would be, I feel it's a tiny bit bloated, and the runtime ran on a little longer than it needed to be. Um, and I feel like the beats weren't dynamic enough. I know I said that earlier, but I'm just gonna say it again. And I do think that there could have been more immersive things going on sonically to justify, keeping the listener for as long as he did. I do think that this is his best work to date, and if he really is going out, this is a great way to end it. So overall, I am feeling an 8.2 on this project. It's a great record, and even though like I don't think it's the best work of all time, that doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter what you or I or anybody else thinks about this record because J. Cole didn't make this album for us. This was an artistic piece made by Cole for hip hop, for his hometown, and for Cole himself. He wanted to make something that he loved and he could look back on and be proud of, that this is the bow tie to his incredible catalog in his career. And as it pertains to artistry and what it means to be a true artist, that is more valuable than any amount of streams or money or anything fame related can get you at all. That is true love and passion and dedication for art, and his strive to be the best that he individually can possibly be. I have an immense amount of respect for J. Cole, and if this truly is it, it's very saddening, and I will miss him a ton. I mean, this is truly an end of an era, unfortunately. But anyway, that's it from me. Hope you enjoyed the video. Um, Remember, this is just my opinion. If you feel stronger about the album, great. Listen to it. Listen to it better than I do. Yeah. But anyway, hit subscribe, hit notification bell, do everything that all those other YouTubers tell you to do. I appreciate you guys for watching. You guys are awesome. And peace out.